Welcome again. In this video, we are going to explore the world of CSS more in depth. In today's world, websites need to work on all devices like desktop computers, tablets, and smartphones. So, CSS makes this possible through responsive design techniques. For example, like we have already written in pre-formatted text, there are media queries. So the media queries allow you to apply different styles based on screen size. As you can see, how to bring the media query. First of all, you need at the rate, then media, and then braces maximum width. Then you are going to write here 600, and then H1 heading and font size would be 20 px. So what does this mean? This makes headings smaller on screens narrower than 600 pixels. Okay. So as also you can use percentage em and rem and vw and vh relative to viewport size. So responsive design, as you know, ensures your website looks greater whether someone is viewing it on a 27-inch monitor or a 5-inch phone screen. Okay, so let's dive deeper into how colors work in CSS. So you have several ways to specify colors. For example, CSS recognizes 140 color names like red, blue, coral, tomato, etc. Okay, so there are also, you can use a hexadecimal. You can use 6 characters to represent colors. For example, we have already written here that if you use hash double f 4 times 0, this is the red color. If you use double zero double f double zero, this is the green color. And if you use a hash 4 times 0 and then double f, this is the blue color. So in this way you can use RGB colors, RGBA colors, HSL and HSLA. So each method has its uses and you will become familiar with them all as you work with the CSS. So let me show you a complete practical example that brings everything together. Let's say we want to create a styled card component. So let's write some HTML code. First of all, as we write already doc type HTML, then we start with the HTML tag, and here we gonna write here head tag, then title HTML CSS. Then I need to link this style.css file to the index.html file. Let's add some link here. Style sheet, then href link style.css. Now as you can see, we have already added the style.css file in the html, index.html file. Let's start with the body tag. So in the body tag, we are, as you know, we are going to create a card. Okay, so let's write here, for example, h1. Okay, now let's create a card. First of all, we need a div element, then class. We are going to give it a name class card, and let's give it create a h2. Okay, so create a class it. So it will be card title, and then it says welcome. Okay, so let's create a paragraph by using the p tag, and we are also going to assign a class to the paragraph tag. And now let's give the class name, that is card text. So we are going to write some text here, and let's write, for example, this is styled card using. So as you can see, we have here h2, and we already assigned a class to the heading 2 that says welcome, and we have paragraph, and we also assigned a class to the paragraph. Let's create a button. So how you are gonna create a button? You need a button I mean button element, then you are going to assign a class to the button 2. So let's assign a class name button, class button. Let's write here some text, click me. As you can see in the preview tab, we have created a button. Okay, now as you can see, this is totally simple, and it's not like the card. Let's add some style. So we are going to use the class names, as we have already give the div element the class name card. We have given the h2 heading card title, and then we have given the paragraph tag the class card text. Okay, let's use these names. First of all, when you come to the style.css file, now use the div class element dot card, and now I'm gonna use here width. Okay, so width would be for example 30 px. You can check the effect in the preview tab. Now use the padding. Okay, so when you use the padding, now for example I'm gonna set the padding to 20 px, and now let me add margin would be 20 px. So let's add background color, background white, and then let's add the border radius. Okay, the border radius would be 10 px. Let's add the box shadow. Okay, so 0, 4 px, and 6 px. Okay, so if you want RGBA, and then you add for example 0 and 0 and 0, and here you write for example 0.1. So you can see our card has been created, and it has given a beautiful shape, but it's not ready yet. Let's use another class card title. We have given this class to the h2. Color would be for example 2C3E50. As you can see, we have assigned a color to the h2. Then we are going to use the font size. Font size would be for example 24 px, and I'm gonna use here another property, line height. Okay, if you use line height, and let's not use this, and I'm gonna use here font weight. Okay, so if you use the font weight, then I'm gonna set it to the bold, and now let's use the margin bottom. So, okay, so let's write for example it will be 10 px. So you can check the effect in the preview tab. So let's use another class of the the paragraph. That was name card. Okay, so I'm gonna write here for example color would be hash 7f8c8d. Okay, so this would be the color of the text. Now let's size the let's assign the font size. So font size would be for example 16 px, and I'm gonna set the line height. Line height would be 1.5, and I'm gonna set the margin bottom. So you can see margin bottom 15 px. Now let's assign some color and style to the button. Okay, and we have already assigned the class to the button, and let's use that class name card button. So if I use here the card design its background color, you can check the effect in the preview tab. Okay, so let's use the background color of the button hash 3498 db. So you can check the color in the preview tab. Our button color has been changed. Now let's use the color that would be white. I use white. Now the button color text has been changed, and it was first black, now it's set to the white. Now let's use the padding. So padding would be 10 px, and it would be 20 px. Okay, so you can check it. Now let's use the border. Its border is black, but we want no border, so border set to the none. Now use the border radius. Border radius would be 5 px. As you can see, it has been cut from all the corners. Use the cursor. Okay, so cursor would be pointer. So in this way, your button has been set. Now use the button hover. For example, if you use card button, and now you're gonna use here colon and hover. When you use this, now use gonna background color, and I'm gonna use here the background color would be black. Okay, so if you hover over the button, you can check our button color changed because we have added here hover. Now let's add this all the text in the card should be in the center. Okay, so if I in the card section, if I write here text align and I write here center, so as you can see our text has been converted to in the center. That was by default in the left side, but it is in the center right now. So in this way you can create a beautiful card with a proper spacing, colors, shadows, and even a hover effect on the button. As you can see, we have added a hover. So this example demonstrates how CSS transforms basic HTML into a professional looking component. So before we wrap up, let me share some best practices for writing CSS. So keep your CSS in separate files for better organization and reusability. Okay, as we have used here the external CSS. So classes are reusable, IDs should be unique, your IDs should be unique, classes are reusable. So classes give you more flexibility. So be consistent, use a consistent naming convention for classes, and group related style together and add comments to the explain sections. So there should be a last resort. Okay, so it makes debugging difficult. So instead of writing like if you write here, for example, if you write margin top, okay, and you write then 10 px. So before in this way, if you write this margin top and margin right, and you write here 10 px, then you write margin bottom, okay, and you write here 10 px, and then you write margin left, and here you write here 10 px. So instead of writing this, write this. We're gonna write margin into 10 px and then write 20 px. So difficult browsers may render CSS slightly differently, so always test. Uh, Now we have covered the three ways to add CSS to the HTML. We have covered inline, internal, and external styles also. So we dove into the CSS box model, as you can see, with its content padding, margin, border, and components. We have touched on responsive design with media queries and flexible units. We explored the different ways to specify colors in CSS, and we looked at practical examples and best practices. So remember, every professional website you see uses CSS. Every beautiful layout, every smooth animation, every responsive design, it all comes down to CSS. Master this skill and you'll be able to bring any design vision to life on the web. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more web development content, and drop a comment below if you have any questions. You can also let me know what topics you would like me to cover next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding.